my first question to you will be that, flooding is usually associated with physical destruction, like I said in the introduction. But many people don't realize it also creates chemical hazards. Can you explain how floods become pathways for toxic chemical contamination?
So like you rightly said, Derry, many people associate flooding with destruction of items, destruction of properties, and also the fact that it sort of leads to death and all that. Little do we know about the fact that it can also impact on the release of chemicals. And this is the science. The chemistry is this. You see, the soil is made up of pores, what is called the macropores and the micropores. The macropores are the big pores, the big spaces. Then the micropores are the smaller spaces. Within these big spaces in the soil is what is contained the air. Then within the smaller spaces in the soil, which is what's contained the water. Now, when it floods, the opposite happens. The big spaces that's supposed to contain air, it now contains water. Now, that means that that space is devoid of what? Oxygen. It displaces the air. Now, that is where the problem begins. Okay, so it causes something called reduction. So in chemistry, basic chemistry, addition of hydrogen in the form of water is called reduction. Removal of oxygen is called what? Reduction. So that is where the whole science begins. The biochemistry begins. Then now when it happens that way, the chemicals are bound to certain components in the soil. Okay, we can have something called the rock particles, the clay particles. We can have what is called the minerals. We can have carbon in the soil. We can also have what's called or hydroxides. So this component that I've mentioned to you contain these heavy metals, or it contains what is called the chemicals. Okay. Now, when it rains, and those spaces that I've mentioned to you, the macropores is now filled with water instead of air. It changes the chemistry of everything. So now they begin to now displace themselves, and they begin to become available to us in the groundwater, or it begins to become available within the soil space. Okay. So now what happens is that we have why does this thing happen? It happens because the ability for the soil to now hold on some of these chemicals, it actually goes down. Okay, the ability goes down. So for instance, I've mentioned to you what is called oxyhydroxides of metals, like iron, like aluminum, like manganese. These three, okay, hold this toxic element. Now it is more stable when the place is not waterlogged. But when the place gets waterlogged, now the chemistry changes. It changes from, let's say, if it's about iron will change from iron 3 to iron 2. Now, when it changes from iron 3 to iron 2, the ability to hold on is no more. It reduces. So now everything held on it also becomes what? Released. So basically that's what happened. Then sometimes it's also bound to clay particles, the clay particles in the soil. Sometimes it's also some of them are also bonded to what is called organic matter. Now, all these components, sometimes they're also bonded to rock particles. Sometimes they are bonded to rock, or what is called minerals. So all these things, when the place gets flooded, the chemistry changes. Then now they begin to release all these toxic elements and other chemicals that are sequestered on the surfaces. They become available. And not only what is called toxic element. Okay, we also have pesticides from farms. We have fertilizers from farms. And when you go to petrol stations or the fuel stations also have the hydrocarbons. Then we go to electronic waste dump. Okay, we have issues with lead, issues with other rare earth elements. All of them begin to become available. But the problem here is not even, we have two main kinds, the organic, and some of them are inorganic. Organic ones are like pesticides, like fertilizers, they are organic. Okay, another ones like hydrocarbons from fuel stations, most of them are organic. Now, because for them, they'll break down with time, So they'll become more or less like degraded in the space, and the effect can be reduced. The problem here is with the inorganic, the toxic element, heavy metals. Now, heavy metals are not able to break down, so they can sit in the soil or in the groundwater, in the sediment for a very long period of time, and they'll be casting their repercussions on human health as time progresses.